What's going on, guys? Gaming Dude back once again, bringing you some more informative gaming news. So this is part 2 in my series of Avengers videos, and this one is regarding She-Hulk. Now, before we begin, y'all know the routine, or at least I hope you do by now. If you are new to the channel, please make sure you smash that like button and drop me a subscribe, because it would just be your good deed of the day. Same applies if you are a returning viewer. Now then, as I mentioned in my previous video, one of the rumoured characters to come to the game was She-Hulk. She's even referenced in dialogue at one of the substations. However, now it appears that she has just been shelved. She's just gone. She's been cancelled. A trusted leaker at Avengers studio developer Crystal Dynamics no longer intends to add She-Hulk to the character roster for Marvel's Avengers. Now, Marvel's Avengers developer Crystal Dynamics reportedly cancelled the release of She-Hulk due to some kind of constraints. Just says constraints, no explanation why. According to Xputer, trusted Marvel's Avengers leaker Miller Ross claimed the studio scrapped plans to add She-Hulk to its roster of playable characters, which is a bit unusual, to be fair, because in order to hype up the Thor Love and Thunder movie, they added in Jane Foster's Thor. You know, she came with no content, no story, but she was just a character. So one would think that they would have done the same for She-Hulk with her TV series. But instead, they gave us Bucky. You know, they made us wait so long for a new character with new content, and it was Bucky. I'm a little bit confused, really, because as I understand it, She-Hulk was supposed to come with some new content, but now if she does come to the game, will she just be an Echo character and not have any content at all? Let's find out. Ross explained that development for the attorney-turned-superhero was plagued with problems, not like any other character they've added to the game. Now, with accidental leaks and internal restructuring repeatedly delaying She-Hulk's release, the absence of She-Hulk specifically has long haunted Marvel's Avengers, with multiple accidental confirmations over the last few years of her not only being present in the pipeline, but also the identity of her voice actress, Cruzira Bejos. Now, Mr. Ross states, sources tell me that She-Hulk was in active development in late July of 2021 by mostly external partners and was shelved when the Avengers shifted entirely in-house under design lead Brian Wagner. So I'm assuming that's when Square Enix sold it off to Embracer Group. A byproduct of the existing long-term strategy being overhauled. So it sounds to me like because they've moved on to a different developer, that this new developer has decided this isn't the direction we want to go for the game. We don't want this character anymore. So Ross further reported that Crystal Dynamics originally planned to wait for a better opportunity before it restarted production on She-Hulk. He continued, the intention was to resume work on the character at a time when the team had sized up and could support development at a scale large enough to create wholly original gameplay after a period of smaller content drops and onboarding improvements to demonstrate the title's worthiness of further capital injections. Suffice to say, this didn't happen. You know, a lot of things that the developers for Marvel's Avengers have promised haven't happened. Like, we waited so long for them to add in the Cloning Labs mission, and when they finally did, it was locked behind a power level. You know, it was locked behind the new high-level power level. And to get to that power level, you have to complete a mission that nobody seems to want to do. Because personally, whenever I queue for that mission, nobody ever queues for it. And when they do, when you do get into it, they leave. As soon as someone goes down, or as soon as the mission doesn't go as they want to, they leave. And it's impossible with less than 3 players. So, yeah, there's that. But yeah, the report supported Ross's previous claims that Crystal Dynamics was forced to delay development on She-Hulk after it experienced major shortages in its budget and manpower. As mentioned in the previous video, the game's down to a skeleton crew. You know, there's hardly anybody working on it anymore, and the people who are working on it are probably just working on it in their spare time. You know, when they've got a bit of free time, they just add a bit of coding and it goes in the next update. Ross claimed She-Hulk was supposed to make her in-game debut in 2021, but developers instead chose to reallocate vital resources to improving Marvel's Avengers multiplayer experience and the development of Jane Foster's Mighty Thor, which I understood at the time because of Thor Love and Thunder's release. But then right after that, She-Hulk, the TV series, arrived on Disney Plus, and it was like, well, where's She-Hulk? You know, I expected her at least a month or two after Jane Foster, but instead we had to wait half a year to get Bucky. And it's like, really? You made us wait that long for this? Really? It's that kind of deal, you know, it's that kind of thing. But continuing on, Ross additionally revealed he remained skeptical of the game's overall future, with the leaker stating, again as mentioned in the previous video, that he wasn't sure if Marvel's Avengers would reach version 4.0 due to its just lack of content and lack of player base. But yeah, so as I also mentioned, the Winter Soldier arrived. And they added Bucky late 2022 to the roster of playable heroes with patch 2.7. So with us being on 2.7, if somewhere between patch 3.0 and patch 4 are the final updates for the game, then let's hope that they add, as mentioned in the previous video as well, Captain Marvel. Just to bring an end to the Kree storyline, because they've been setting up this massive Kree invasion since day one. And if they choose to end the game support without any resolution to that, then it's just a dick move, you know? it's just what was the point in setting up for it and having it in there in the first place if you're just going to finish it with no resolution? Really do hate game developers that do that, you know. They tickle your ball sack a little bit and they're like, yeah, you can expect this, but it'll be years away, and then all of a sudden it's like, nah, game's not doing so well, we're not going to give you it no more. So you end up with a half-cocked story that's unfinished and broken, which is what the game is at the moment, actually, just half-cocked, half-finished and broken. But anyway, Crystal Dynamics additionally revealed the American veteran-turned-Soviet assassin was voiced by actor Scott Porter. He has previously portrayed the Winter Soldier alongside beloved Marvel characters, but he's more recently known for his work in the God of War Ragnarok game as Heimdall. He has also done some other projects. You know, he's been very active in the gaming world. He's done a lot. He's very well known. He's a very well known voice actor. But yeah, patch 2.7 added the cloning lab Omega level threat, which, as I mentioned, is locked behind a power wall. You have to be at the new power level of 185 in order to play it. And to do that, you need to play a mission that nobody seems to want to do. So, unless you've got a cheater's way of getting to that power level, you ain't playing it. I mean, none of my characters are at that new power level, and I don't think they ever will be. Because I only play the game every so often now. I went from playing it almost every day to every couple of days to just every so often. And it's a shame because the game could have had a lot of potential. It really could. But yeah, so let me know what you guys think. Do you think that it is definitely the end for the game, that the developers should just tell us right now that that's it, you're not getting anything new? Or do you think that they're waiting for the right opportunistic moment, so for them to add one more character and then say, right, this is it, we're done now? Because it is up for some debate whether or not they're actually going to add one more mainstream character to progress the story, or if they're just going to add a bunch of echo characters with no progressing story, and that's it. Which, again, as I mentioned, would be a dick move, setting all that up and going absolutely nowhere with it. But yeah, it is disappointing. I mean, if She-Hulk is cancelled, then I'm not really too fussed by it, because we've already got the copycat character of Thor. You know, we've got Jane Foster. We've got another Echo character, Spider-Man. Bucky is essentially a copycat character of Black Widow and Captain America. So we don't really need another one. You know, it'd just be an excuse to play the game and level up this character again to a point where you can play one new mission, because that's all that came with Bucky and his update. One mission. That was it. One mission. They hyped him up, they gave him so much press, and he came with one mission that pretty much nobody can play. If you don't play the game on a regular basis and have a posse to join you and do that stupid raid, which is just ridiculous to play. Trust me, it is just... Oh, don't get me started. Please, don't. But yeah, so that's it for this video then. We should have another 1 or 2 videos to come on Marvel's Avengers. One of them is, in fact, the escalating news on EA Games signing the deal to make an Iron Man game. And the other one is regarding any extra playable characters that may be coming to the game. So stay tuned for those. It's going to be great. And also stay tuned, because we have a lot coming to the channel in the coming weeks. I've already mentioned it several times, but I'm going to do it again anyway. We have some more Jedi Fallen Order gameplay to come. We have some Sonic Frontiers gameplay coming. There's a lot of games coming out this year as well. Most hyped up, of course, is Hogwarts Legacy. Cannot wait for that. Definitely going to be streaming that. We've got Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League coming this year. Spider-Man 2 coming in the fall. There's a lot of DLCs for pre-existing games. So there's a lot to come this year. You know, it's a big year for gaming, and it's a big year for this channel. So do stay tuned. And of course, if you are new to the channel, please make sure you smash that like button and drop me a subscribe, because it would just be your good deed of the day. It also lets YouTube know that you enjoyed the video. It adds it to the algorithm for other people to enjoy as well. So yeah, that being said then, this has been Gamer Dude. Happy gaming, and I will catch you all in the next one, guys.